Hello peoples, today we're gonna talk about emulsion stability. But right before we start, I think we have to understand what is emulsion and emulsion stability. Emulsion is a mixture of two liquids that will ordinarily not mix together like oil and water. Try shaking oil and water and within minutes they will separate. Basically, the mixture of oil and water are thermodynamically unstable systems and they tend to dislike each other. So, how do we make them like each other? We'll get to that later. As we are looking for stable emulsion, it's very important to understand the tiny bit of science behind it. Emulsion stability refers to the ability of an emulsion to resist change in this property over time. Simply, how long does the water and oil the molecule stays and love each other? Theoretically, even stable emulsions will separate after some time. It's all about time, and there are few ways they can separate. So, to find out the way they separate, we'll look into the mechanism of emulsion instability. So, there are four types of instability in emulsions. The first one will be fluctuation. The fluctuation occurs when there is an attractive force between the droplets, so they form flocks, like bunches of grapes. The second type of instability would be coalescence. Coalescence occurs when droplets bump into each other. They combine to form a large droplet. So, the average droplet size increases over time. This involves the breaking of interfacial foam. The next type of instability would be creaming. Creaming occurs when oil droplets move upward due to the gravity as they have lower density than the surrounding liquid. The last and the fourth type of instability would be sedimentation. Sedimentation occurs when droplets move downward due to the high density than the surrounding liquids. Before we explain how to stabilize emulsion and avoid those emulsion instabilities, here's a demo made by us. Enjoy!
Hello guys, so today we will do an experiment on emulsion stability. Right before we go to the experiment, we will introduce all the chemicals that we use in this experiment. The first one would be 2% starch solution, 2% propylene glycol alginate solution PGA, 2% of mixture starch and propylene glycol alginate solution, distilled water, and lastly oil, the important ingredient to do emulsion. And now let's move on to the demonstration.
As we can see that we have mixed 1 gram of oil to 5 gram of water, and they just can't mix together right now. So if I shake it, well, they do mix, but it's only for temporary. Well, after a few minutes, they will just separate again. So what do we do with this?
Now let us homogenize water and oil for 5 minutes at speed 3. Okay, let us begin by putting this one at the interface. Okay, and now I will press start button.
Now we know that PGA and starch will result in a stable emulsion as we have seen. But how do they work? Let's go to the interesting theories. Propylene glycol alginate, or in short PGA, function as emulsifier. They facilitate the formation of emulsion by lowering the interfacial tension between oil and water. The urge for the dispersed molecule to get back to each other has lessened to some extent, and they'll stay away from each other for a pretty long time. Another theory would be the repulsion theory. The emulsifiers form an electric charge cloud, causing the dispersed molecule to repel from each other. As we know, positive don't like positive charge, so they'll stay away from each other and be stable as an emulsion. Lastly, we add in starch in the experiment, and the emulsion with both starch and PGA was the most stable one. Now we know how PGA works, but how does starch increase the stability? Well, starch is a stabilizer. It increases the viscosity of the medium, so the droplet move at a slower speed. That means they can't join each other. So our conclusion will be, the combination of stabilizer and emulsion will give you a very stable emulsion. This is what you see in most food products, where they have two types of immiscible liquids and mix together for such a long time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.